Hi everyone, thank you so much for watching Women Walking Away. I'm Kathleen and today we're going to talk about femininity. Femininity is a collection of the socially prescribed roles that are applied only to women. So femininity not only includes the way women are supposed to look, the way women are supposed to comport themselves in public, acceptable career paths or other decisions that women make, and basically all the restrictive things that are enforced upon women are a result of femininity and the idea that we have a certain way that we're meant to move through the world. We're not in charge of it. It comes from top down, obviously, and it's a part of patriarchy, right? So this is enforced. It is not something that we choose. Femininity in the West is a culture of forced exhibition, which means that women are socially prescribed to wear more revealing clothing, tighter clothing, more restrictive clothing. And this is two sides of the same coin of femininity in other cultures where it's forced modesty. So although they may look very different on the surface, the root is the same. It's male people in charge and prescribing what women can and can't wear. We are socially punished for not adhering to these norms. Femininity includes things like shaving your legs, the fact that women are supposed to have long hair, wear a face full of makeup, spend a ton of money on a beauty routine, and, wear the high heels. So femininity is labor. It is labor intensive. It takes a lot of time, effort, and energy to create this idea of what womanhood is. It's not something that you roll out of bed and start your day, right? Femininity is effort. We have to take care of ourselves, which is often, it goes right against what we actually want to be doing in the world, which is just existing as we are. And I want to encourage women that you are ideal, perfect, just the way you are. Nothing about your body is wrong or broken. You don't have to cover anything up or change anything. You are good and whole. But femininity is the idea that you're not. It's the idea that there is something about you that needs to be adapted, that your natural self is not sufficient. And this idea wasn't born in you. Like, I hear all the time that I shave for me, I wear makeup for me. It's like, if every other person on this planet was gone tomorrow, you telling me that you would walk down to the grocery store, break in, buy yourself a pack of razors, and shave every day? We don't do it for ourselves. We may do it because we're used to it, we're adapted to it, it's familiar, it feels safe, we like the positive feedback that we get, and that's very valid, but it's not feminist. So a feminist can be feminine, but femininity is not a feminist act. Putting on makeup is not a feminist act. And actually rejecting femininity is very subversive. Because we live in a heterosexist society, we have the idea that women are always in a state of signaling access. Now, this is something that a lot of women don't like to hear about because they think it means that the way they dress encourages sexual harassment or rape. It's absolutely not what I'm saying. I always put the responsibility for abuse on abusers, for rapists on rapists. There's an assumption that women are always interested in having sex or being with men. So this comes from porn, this comes from the media, from all the movies we've been watching since we were little kids, from romance novels, everything. So men get a certain idea and women have a certain idea, and they're very different, which is why it's not just this whole women are from Venus, we're all so confusing and mysterious. No, we're getting different messages our entire lives, and then we're being forced to adapt to the messages that men are getting, which are derived mostly from porn. So signaling access means that the men think that the clothes that we wear denote how much we want to have sex. So they think that the high heels mean that we're fuckable, they mean that the short skirt means that it's time to have sex, they mean that the nylons, that it's time to, rip them off. They have these ideas about what femininity means, and when they see a feminine woman, that's what they think. They think she's for me. So obviously this puts women in a really scary state because women just want to be left alone for the most part. So not only do men have this idea that women who dress a certain way are made for them, but But femininity is restrictive in and of itself. The things that women wear when they wear feminine clothing, like high heels, like tight short skirts, they're restrictive. You can't run away from a man who thinks that you're for him when you're wearing high heels. Like, this is a huge problem. And not just in one instance. Like, it's not just one moment where you need to run away and you can't. There is long-term compounding damage from high heels, from waist trainers, from binders, from everything, from bras, from the things that women are meant to wear. We saw the same thing with corsets. Like, what do we think this is doing to our bodies on an evolutionary scale? We are doing real lasting harm to our skeletal structures, and it's causing, damage further down the line, and genetically too, I'm sure. So not only is it exorbitantly expensive to meet the standards of femininity, whatever it is for your class, and it's expensive for any class. Like, women who are in poverty are still expected to meet certain standards of femininity. They're still expected to wear makeup. They're still expected to have their hair done a certain way or taken care of. And the higher up the class you go, the more, over the top these overtures are supposed to be. And women meet them. We have to. There's no out, because the punishment. Sexualization is happening younger and younger for girls. And it's a growing concern. It's a growing problem. It's the pornification of women. Our culture is completely saturated in porn. Even young girls are expected to be to be bared to the male gaze constantly, and it's happening to pre-adolescence, and femininity is by its nature pedophilic. It's the idea that women should be kept childlike forever. So you have an entire culture of women who are never allowed to age, and we spend so much money keeping ourselves childlike with no hair, because that's what children look like, with our big bright doe eyes and our long hair like children normally have, right up until when we age out of the culture altogether, and then suddenly we're invisible. So you spend most of your life trying to be younger than you are, and then till you're deemed too old to even matter, and then you're invisibilized, all because you don't fit men's idea of what's sexually attractive anymore. That's really it. That's what femininity is. It's all about what men want in any given moment. They have the money, so they sell the clothes. They own 90% of the media that we see, so they sell us the clothes in the media and we buy it. They're paying our wages so that we take that money and give it back to them by shopping and wearing these clothes that we don't know that there's an alternative. So pedophile culture is the idea that we're supposed to stay young forever, that we're supposed to be sexual but innocent, childlike but experienced, and you may have noticed with femininity, with patriarchy, you can never win. And so let's talk a little bit about masculinity. So in my mind, I see femininity as prescriptive. So these are the rules that you have to follow. These are the narrow options laid out before you. Take your pick of one or two. And you can go a little bit outside the norm, like you can be goth Olita, but it's all still categories of the same overarching theme, which is whatever men want. So masculinity is permission. And I hear a lot about, as a feminist, what about men, they don't get to show their emotions. Well, men do get to show their emotions all the time. Anger is an emotion, and they have no qualms blasting women and children and each other with anger all the time. Our culture is saturated with male anger. So, and it's not like women are free to have emotions either. Women aren't free to cry in public or to cry as if you're a politician or something like that. We are taught to be stoic and to put up and shut up. Like, that's part of femininity. That's part of the feminine gender role. And so masculinity is permission. It's permission to be, to not have to participate in conversations, to be able to just dominate all the time, and to not have to consider another person's perspective because you think you're right. Like, those are all parts of masculinity. Just this idea of being in charge, being the alpha male. It always comes back to who benefits and who is harmed. So with femininity, who benefits? Men believe that we are made for them. Who is harmed? Women, both, financially, physically, skeletally, and emotionally, because femininity is terrorizing. It's this idea that there's nothing about your body that is okay as it is. It's the idea that you are wrong and you need to be fixed, and it's work to be a person, and you can't just exist. And so with masculinity, who benefits and who is harmed? Well, I would argue that women are harmed by men adopting the masculine gender role, because masculinity is toxic. It's a power game. It's a power dynamic. It puts them in charge. It's a hierarchy. Gender is a hierarchy with masculinity at the top and femininity way at the bottom. So when men enact masculinity, women are harmed because women are literally abused due to men fulfilling the male gender role, which is masculinity. And I'm not making the argument that men abuse women solely because of socialization. I don't believe that, and that's a conversation that we'll have another day. But I don't think it helps at all. I think it's cultural permission for what men want to do, and they slap a gender role on it and say this is just who we are, and who benefits. So I believe that men benefit from masculinity and women suffer. So men like to be in charge. They enjoy the benefits of masculinity. Obviously, like, higher wage comes with that, more power, more control. They've been able to own land for a lot longer than women have. The inheritance, comes from the male line and things like that. Like, even the name. Women lose our names within a generation. We lose our connections within a generation. That's gender. So there are small ways that men are hurt by masculinity or by not adhering to masculinity strongly enough, and for that I would encourage them to start a movement of not adhering to masculinity. I would love to see that. Nothing in the world would make me happier than to see men reject masculinity on a mass scale. That's not my responsibility. I am a lesbian feminist. I am about women, and I would obviously also recommend that women reject femininity on a mass scale too, because it's distracting, it's expensive, it's dangerous, it's harmful long term. It shows little girls that they are, sexual objects or made for male consumption, and that's not true. Girls deserve to exist in the world freely without being restricted by gender or ideas about what they're capable of, because girls are capable of anything. The fate of the world resides with girls, and if we keep binding them emotionally and physically, then we're going to lose them, and we're going to lose our own shot. So there's a lot at stake here. So I got an amazing comment on another video, and it was what prompted this one, and she asked basically how to talk about her decision to reject femininity with other women because she had experienced some cruelty or some harm or some judgment, negative reaction. And that's really tough, and I've experienced that too. I think for the most part women are just curious. They want to know why you do it, what it feels like, what the reasoning is. Like, for example, we've all been taught as a society that hairy women are dirty. It's just a cultural stereotype, a lie that we've internalized. And we need to combat that because more and more women are letting their hair grow. And we're not dirty because hair is actually for hygienic purposes. That's why we have it. So women may not know that. They may have internalized that lie, and they don't even know that they're furthering it by making that assumption and by spreading it. So I think we just have some education to do. I think that's a lot of it. I also think that women feel like they are being judged when we reject femininity for ourselves. And I think that that's unfortunate, because when women feel closed off like that, when that sort of knee-jerk reaction, we lose an ally. So I think it's important to just sort of like stay playful about it. And even when you feel judged, just be curious and like, well, what do you think about that? Like, what do you have a concern here? What's your issue? I get a lot of like, oh, I would love to do that, but... And then I just kind of walk them through why their reasons are based in fear, and it's okay to put them away and lead with love. Because that's what I ended up doing. That's why I love my natural body the way it is, because I decided to stop fearing it as this crazy, unknowable, out of control, detached thing, and embrace it as part of my whole being, my whole system. And, you know, women have a lot of that unfortunate removal from themselves, and we can all benefit from healing that a little bit. And I always think about the other people in the room, metaphorically, or whether you're online, the other people watching, the other people who will be impacted beyond the one-on-one conversation that's happening. So that may look like, you know, you're on break at work and your coworker confronts you and says, you know, everyone else around here wears makeup. I really would feel better if you wore makeup too. And, you know, maybe they're the boss and they have a right to say that. They don't. But there can be social punishment, and there can be like actual repercussions from your job if you don't perform femininity. So you might say, well, I don't enjoy makeup, I don't own any, I will not be wearing makeup, and just be, you know, upfront about it. And you don't have to say like, I think makeup is stupid, or women who wear makeup are cowards or lemmings or anything like that. We don't necessarily have to get into the personal aspect of it. But you can say also that I don't wear makeup for political reasons. And stop there and see what happens next. See if they're curious. See if they want to explore that a little bit, or if they're scared. And if they're scared, let them back off. And if they say, what political reasons? Well, that's a perfect opportunity. You've been asked, you've been invited, and now the responsibility is sort of on the other person. So the other people watching, you know, whether that interaction goes well or not, there's no way to tell, but the other people watching, you will get their wheels turning too. They'll get them thinking, can I do that? What would my body look like with hair? What would my face look like without makeup? How brave can I be? Should I maybe tone it down a little bit and try to just move through the world as myself 1 day a week, 2 days a week, you know? You're gonna get people thinking, you're gonna get women curious. And again, even the one-on-one interaction doesn't go well, she's going to go to her book club, she's going to go to her home and her other, you know, wherever it is she goes that she gathers with women, and she's going to talk about you. She's going to talk about that hairy dyke who has a lot of opinions. And even if she lays it out in a judgmental way, people are hearing what they need to hear. So people may just be hearing, beyond her judgment, they may just be hearing that there's a woman out there who thinks it's okay and good not to shave, not to wear makeup, not to wear dresses or skirts, not to adhere to the patriarchal, restrictive gender norms that femininity entails. So it's always bigger than you, it always goes farther than you, and it takes a lot of bravery. So let's encourage each other to be brave. And if you need support, seek it. Seek your gender non-conforming community, because they're out there, they exist. We now more than ever have more connection with other women worldwide, so let's talk about these things. And yeah, just be courageous. Have courage in your heart and know that you are doing what is right for you and what is politically expedient to the end goal of liberation of women from male supremacy. So thank you so much for watching this video and indulging me on a bit of a ranty journey. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to me if you haven't already. That's really wonderful. I do love seeing that. Suggestions for future videos I always take. Conversations in the comments I adore. So let's have some of those. Okay, thank you so much for watching again, and have a wonderful day. Bye.